Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unreal Engine 4 tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to implement vaulting and climbing up, so jumping, so kind of like parkour into your game. So this is quite more of an advanced tutorial, so this will be over a two-part series. So today I'm going to be doing the vaulting, and then probably tomorrow I'll upload the climbing up and jumping aspect of it as well. And so I'll also have the animations linked in the description down below as well. So without further ado, let's go straight into it. So what we're going to want to do first is just open up our character blueprint. So mine is the third person BP blueprints and a third person character, but this can be whichever one you're using, so it can be first person or whatever you've just named it. And then we're just going to use a key press to actually jump. So instead of just getting a key like so, I'm going to actually implement a hotkey for it, so you can either change it or you can have more than one if you want. So go to edit, project settings, input, and then action mappings, add a new one. I'm going to call it vaulting, like so. You can call it whatever you want, like parkour, jump, maybe not jump because you got that one there, but anything you like. And I'm going to set it to the V key, like so. So then close that and go back into the character blueprint. So now if we right click and search for that, what we did for the action mapping we've just made, so I called it vaulting, like that, there we go. Get that, and then off of pressed, we're just going to drag out and get a line trace for objects, like that. And there we go. And then down here, we're going to want to get the actor location, like that. Then also get the actor forward vector. And then we're going to drag off the actor location and get a vector minus a vector, like that. And then off of the get actor forward vector, we're going to get a multiply vector multiplied by a float node, like so. And then for the values for these, we're going to set it so it, for the top one, it subtracts 44 from the Z, and on the bottom one it multiplies by 70. And then we're just going to put these two into an add node, like so. So vector plus vector, and just put that one on the top, that one in the bottom, and then move this over just a little bit, and then plug this part here. So from the subtract, plug that into the start, and then from the addition there, plug that into the end. And if the object types, we're going to just want to drag out and make array, like so. And then we're going to want to make this world static, so it should be that by default. And we're also going to want to trace complex, and for draw debug type, we want it to be for duration, like that. And then off of here, we're going to want to drag out and get a branch, like so. And then also off the out hit, we'll just drag out and then break hit result, like that, and then just expand it there. And also for the return value, we'll just plug that into the branch there, like so. And then we're going to make some variables, so we'll right click on the location and promote to variable, and we'll call this wall location. Plug that into the true off of the branch, and then right click on the normal, promote to variable, and call this wall normal. And obviously you can change these names for however you like, but these are just most simple, basic, straightforward names. They get the job done. So we'll do that, and then we'll just copy and paste the line tracing here. So line trace for objects, make array, and break hit result. Copy and paste that here, and just plug that in to the set wall normal, like that. And then down here, we're going to right click and get forward vector again, like that. And then also make rot from X, like so. Plug the return value of that into the in rot of the get forward vector, and then get the wall normal and plug that into the X of that there. So we'll just drag that up a bit, like so. And then for the return value for the get forward vector, we're going to get a vector multiplied by a float, and set the float to -10, like so. Give us a bit more space. And then we'll get the wall location, so drag that in and get. We'll get off and get a addition node, so vector plus a vector, and then plug multiplication into there, like so. And then we'll move this back just a tiny bit more, and then drag off of this, so the return value of the addition, and that's going to go into another addition, so another vector plus vector, like that, and then return value of that goes into a subtraction, so vector minus vector, and then off of the return value again, off of the addition, goes into the start, the return value of this subtraction goes into the end, like so. And for the addition, we want to just simply add 200 to the z-axis, and then minus 200 off of the z-axis for the bottom one, like so. So then out of the line trace again, we're going to want to get another branch, like that. Return value goes into the condition again, like so. And then now we want to set the wall height. So for the location of this one, we're going to right click, promote to variable, and call this one wall height, like so. And then plug that into the true, like that. And then off of this, we're going to get a sequence because we're doing more, because we want to do more than one thing after this. And then off of then 0, so the first thing it's going to do is get a branch, like this. Now it doesn't really matter what order they're in unless you have delays, but we don't, so this is fine. It should do them all at the same time. So then up here, we're going to just simply drag in the wall height and get, and the wall location and get, and then just do a subtract, so vector minus vector, plug the wall height in there, and the wall location in there, and then we drag off this and break the vector, like so, and then out of the z, if we get a float is greater than float, and then set the bottom value to 60, like so, and then just plug the return value of that into the condition of the branch, like so. And then we need to make another new variable, so we'll just hit the plus variable there, and we'll call this should player climb, or should climb, anything you like, just something along those lines. Make sure it's a boolean, like so. And then off of the branch here, we're just going to drag off and set. So then off of true, we'll set it, and then we'll duplicate that and set it off of false as well. And off of true, we're going to set it to true, and then off of false, we'll set it to false. So tick the top one, like that. And then off of then 1, we're just going to simply drag out and get another line trace for objects. So we can just move this up and then just duplicate this again. Copy and paste this, sorry. We don't need the breakout result. So just copy and paste that like there, plug that into then 1, like that. And then down here, we're going to right click and get forward vector. And then down here, we're just going to simply copy and paste this again, because we're just reusing this. So just copy and paste that down here and just plug into the same places. So the top one goes into start, so addition start, subtraction into end. And then down here we just want to change the multiplication from -10 to -50, like that. And up here we're going to change it from adding 250 to the z, adding 200 to the z to 250 to the z. So then subtracting 200 to subtracting 300 from the z. And then we're just going to drag out off the return value and get another branch, like that, plug that in there. And then we'll make another new variable and call this is wall thick, or anything along those lines again, just something like that. And then off of the false, we're going to set that. So set it to false, off of false, there we go. And then off the out hit again, we're just going to simply break hit result and expand that like so. And off of the location, off of here, we're going to right click, promote to variable again. I'm going to call this wall height 2, or other wall height, or anything like that, just something along those lines. And we're going to plug this into the true off of the branch, like so. And then off of that, we're going to drag out and get another sequence, like that. And then off of then 0, we're just going to again get another branch, like so. And we'll get the wall height, so drag and drop, get, and then wall height 2, drag and drop, get. We'll just do another subtraction, so drag off of wall height, vector minus vector, wall height 2 in the bottom, like so. And then drag off of the return value for the subtraction and break the vector. And then we'll just move this up here. Off of the z, we're going to get another float is greater than float, and we want to set this to 30. And then plug that return value into the condition of the branch that we've just made, like that. And then we're going to set the is wall thick, so we'll put that into true and false, like that. And off of true, we're going to set it to false, and off of false, we're setting it to true. So tick the bottom one like that. And then off of then one, we're going to drag out, get another branch like this. And as a condition, we're going to get should player climb, like that. Then also off of the is wall thick here that we set before the sequence, we're going to drag off this and get a reroute node and just plug that into there. So off of then one, that'll then go into there as well, and that goes into the branch there. Or you can just plug it straight in to the branch as well, but this just keeps it a bit neater like that. So this just then joins it, so this is wall thick, false, and goes into here as well. So now we're going to import our animations and create the montages for these. So if we go back to the content browser, I'm going to make a new folder, call it Parkour, open that up, and then I'll import all of the animations, which again will be linked in the description down below. So you simply drag and drop them all in like this. The skeleton, you use the character you're using. For me, I'm just using the UE4 mannequin, and this should all be good. So import all like that. And then with them all still selected, we're going to right click, create, and create anim montage like that. And now we have an animation montage for all of them, like so. And then we're going to go into our animation blueprint. So if you already have one created for your character, that's fine. And I have made a tutorial on that as well if you want to check that out. But for this tutorial purposes, I'm just going to be using the animation blueprint made with Unreal for the default mannequin. So like that, load that up, and then we're just going to go back to the default, and then actually back to just anim graph, like so. Drag default out, and then drag off of that. We're going to get a new slot default slot, and just plug that back into the result. And then we'll go back to our third person character, and off of false, so if the player shouldn't climb, it's going to vault. So true, should player climb, it will climb, and false, it's going to vault. So if we come down to the false, and we'll set the collision, so for the character, so if we drag and drop the capsule component from the top left down here, and then just drag off that and set collision enabled, and obviously plug into the false like that, get ourselves a bit of space, there we go. And we'll leave it as no collision. And then we're also going to get the character movement, so drag and drop that in as well. And then we're going to drag off of this and set the movement mode like that. And we're going to set this to flying, and we'll plug that back into there as well, like that. And the reason we're setting the movement mode to flying is so that we can then use the root motion later on properly and it doesn't glitch out or anything like that. So then off of this, we're going to get a branch like that. And as a condition, it's going to be is wall thick, or whatever you've called it, like so. And then off of the true, what we're going to want to do is play an animation montage, play anim montage, sorry, and do that off of false as well. So just copy and paste that down to false, like so. And for the top one, so off of true, we want the animation montage to be the getting up montage, and then the bottom one, so off of false, we want it to be vault montage, and we'll leave all the other variables on there the same. And then off of the return value for these, we're just going to drag out and get a delay, so it waits until the animation has finished playing, like that. So do that for both of them, off of both true and false. And then off of this, we're going to set the collision and movement mode back to what they should be, so what they were by default. So we can just copy and paste the two we've modified earlier, paste them there, plug the completed for both of these delays into that, so they both go into it, and then select collision enabled is going to be collision enabled query and physics, so it should be the bottom one, and then the movement mode is going to be obviously walking, like so. And then off of this, what we're going to do is drag out and set the actor rotation, like so, and then we'll go down here a bit, give us a bit more space, and we're going to get the wall normal variables, so drag it in and get, and then we'll drag off of this and make rot from X like we did earlier, and then drag off the return value and break rotator like that. And then off of the Z, so the yaw, we're going to drag out and get an addition, so a float plus a float, and we're going to be adding 180 to it like so. And then we'll drag off the return value for that and make the rotator again, like so, and make sure that that is plugged into the Z, not the X or Y. And you can just Alt left click to break the node like that, to break the link, sorry. So then to do the X and Y, we're going to right click up here and get the actor rotation, like so. Then we'll right click on the return value and split structure pin, and then we'll just plug the X and the Y into there accordingly. So then I'll just organize this a little bit, give myself a bit more space, like so, and then I'll just select this, drag it up and move it up here, like that. And then I'll plug the return value of this into the new rotation of the set actor rotation, like so. So then actually we also want to go back over here to just before the play animation montages, so select all that, move over just a little bit, and then between the true and the play anim montage, we're going to drag off the true and set the actor location like this. So make sure that's all plugged in there, and then we're going to come down here into some space, going to get the wall normal, so get, and then we'll make rot from X like that. Off the return value, we're going to get the forward vector like so. And off the return value for that, we're gonna multiply vector by a float, and the float will be 50. And then the return value for that will go into an addition, so vector plus vector, and then we're gonna add the get actor location onto that there. So then just plug that in like that. So then again, I'll just organize this, make it look a bit neater, like so, and then we'll plug this, the return value from the addition, into the new location of the set actor location, like so. And we're going to do that for both of them as well. So if we just copy and paste the set actor location, plug that into the false, and plug that into this play animation montage as well, move this down a bit, and also plug this into the location of here as well, so it's in both of them, like that. So there we go. That's now fixed that issue, and make sure everything's still all plugged in how it should be. And then what we're going to do is set the location again, so we'll just drag this out a bit more, and off of here we'll set actor location once again, and then down here again, what we're going to do this time is get the wall height, so get wall height, drag off of this and break vector, and off of the Z we'll drag off and get a subtraction, so a float minus a float, that's going to be 20, like so. And return value for this, drag off and make vector, and again make sure this is plugged into the Z, like so. And the X and Y, once again, we're just going to get actor location, right click on the return value, and split structure pin, plug the X and the Y into there like that, and then the return value off of the make vector is going to go into the new location on the second set actor location we've just made. Now there seems to be it looks like there's quite a lot of unnecessary steps in here, but trust me, you need to do all of these steps for it to work properly. Otherwise it won't work at all, or it'll just be glitchy and unsmooth and all of that. Maybe in future versions of the engine they might fix this or improve it, but for now this is how it's done. So this should now be the vaulting and getting up onto blocks done. So if we just select all this and comment it, so select it all and press C, I'll call this vaulting and or getting up, like so. That seems good. So like I say, this should now be the vaulting done, so in the next episode I'll do the actual jumping and climbing part. So if we test this, we can minimize this. I've already made a little kind of course so we can vault through windows and onto different objects and stuff. So I hit play. So if you have an issue where if you try to vault over, it does something like that, or it just teleports you back to the starting position, that's because we need to enable root motion in the animations themselves. So we just select all our animations and open them up like this, and then we search for root animation and just enable that like so. Hit save, close that, and do it again for all of these, this should now fix our problem. So I've gone through and done it for all of the animations I've used. So now if I just close this and hit play, go over and test this again, if I press V to vault over, you can now see it works perfectly. So we're now vaulting over and through objects like this, and as you can see, it changes on the height. So this is higher than the window, the hands go on top, and we vault straight over like that. And if we go through the window, the hands will go on top of the window as we're getting the height of the wall. So in the next tutorial I'll show you how to jump up onto these and up onto here as well, and up onto all of these, vault over, climb up, all of that good stuff that we want to know. So again, that will probably be up tomorrow as of watching this, as of recording this, sorry. So I think that'll be it for this video. We've done everything we wanted to do. We've set up the vaulting part of our parkour, so we can go up to something, an object like this, hit V or whatever you set it to, and we'll just vault over. Simple as that. Looks quite good and works very well. Obviously it might not look too great sometimes, but that's just because of the animations we're using. So if you have your own animations which look better, obviously just import those instead. And also mess about with the delays to get it perfect for you, but this works perfectly fine. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, make sure to like and subscribe down below. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.